Hey guys, Michelle Martin Dobbins, and I wanted to talk to you today about what to do when you keep creating the same thing over and over. And obviously, it's not something that you want to create because if you're creating something good over and over, awesome, right? It's not a big deal. But you know how sometimes we just keep creating the same thing over and over. Like there's the classic one of a person who keeps picking the wrong person to date over and over. They get the people who aren't willing to commit or who are not faithful to them over and over and over again. And you're like, okay, is it them or is it me? And you know, if it's happening over and over again, it's issue. And not getting down on anybody because I've been there too. I used to have an issue that I kept creating over and over again. And it's when I first started in the Law of Attraction Spiritual Growth. I started at a Unity church and I did a lot of things there. But then when I started doing online things and I met up with some coaches and some classes, and I was really excited to do it. But I know I had a big block against taking these online courses or getting coaching from a coach. And I don't know if it wasn't that I felt that I wasn't worthy of it or that people would look down on me for doing it or what it was, but it manifested in the craziest ways for me. And that was I could not get on a phone call with a coach, or if I was taking a class where there was a live call, my phone would go out, my kids would get sick and their school would call in the middle. I had my kids' school call in the middle of coaching calls. I had crazy misconnections, and like after time of this happening, you're like, okay, this is not just a random occurrence. I have a mental block against this. So what did I do? I decided I needed to change my thinking. And so I'm going to give you the 3 steps and I'll kind of walk you through it with me. At first, I wasn't aware. Why was this happening? And so the very first step is awareness. You have to be aware that you have a pattern before you can shift it, right? And usually about the time that you become aware is when you're like, I don't want to keep doing the same thing again. I'm tired of this happening. I'm tired of getting a job that goes nowhere, or I'm tired of always overspending, or I'm tired of getting the guy that cheats on me. So you become aware, and up until that point, there's not a whole lot that you can do about it. Sometimes we may do work and change things by shifting our vibration without actually becoming aware, which is really cool. But usually you're aware that there's a pattern, and that's great because that's the first step, right? Because if you don't know that you're creating this situation over and over again, then what can you do about it? Not a whole lot other than raise your overall vibration. And it doesn't really make a difference because you didn't know, didn't really notice. Sometimes you will after the fact. I have noticed that. That used to happen all the time, and it doesn't anymore because I changed my thinking. So first thing is usually awareness that you are creating the same thing over. The second is to change your story. And I know for me, I was like, I'm worthy of being on these calls. People support me being on these calls. It's worth my time. And so I changed those stories, and I would also write out, I loved getting on this call today. The technology was great. The phone, kind of scripting out or prayer and journaling. Everything in present tense happening as I wanted it to happen. And things got better, but it was a slow process, and sometimes I would get on a call and still have problems. But I noticed that I got to a point where I could laugh about it, and I could even tell people like, hey, I have been creating this and I'm shifting that story and creating a new story, but if my phone doesn't work, that's why. So first we had the awareness, then changing your story, and the third one is like, make it okay. Don't resist it if it happens again. Because when you've had a long history of it, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to shift your story. Sometimes you can do it in an instant, but sometimes, like me, when I became aware, it still took me 2 or 3 months of different things going on, maybe even a little bit more of that till like, I don't even think about that anymore. And I was having a hard time coming up with a story, and then I remembered this, but when I was kind of going through my mind, but now I can get on a call, and I actually lead calls with other people, and it's no big deal. But I had to shift that story and those beliefs that were behind that story that created that problem every time I wanted to be on the phone with somebody for coaching purposes. So, make it okay. So, A, awareness. B, change your story. C, make it okay if you go back and you do it. And in short order, you'll notice that it happens less and less, and then it doesn't happen at all. So you can shift your story. It's really just a process of changing your beliefs. And if you want more ideas on ways to change your belief, you can come to my website at dailyalchemy.com. There's lots of blog posts there about things that you can do: meditation, affirmations, prayer, journaling, scripting, all kinds of ways to change your beliefs and start creating a life that you love. Because to me, life is a journey to be enjoyed, and a magical one at that, not a problem to be solved. So I would love to connect with you there, and anywhere else. So come on over there to dailyalchemy.com, and I'll talk to you next time. Namaste.